Kim, Kim, Kim khaiเร็วบอกปะเร็วออสไว้มิวต์หมด
Good morning, everybody. We're going to start our session today. And before giving the word to our first organization, we are having this initial ceremony. So we want to give the voice to our Asia colleagues who have this organized for us today.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I will be spearheading this opening. Is everyone here? Shall I begin? Yeah. Okay. Let's begin by gently closing our eyes and placing our feet flat on the floor beneath us. Take a deep breath in and slowly exhale. With your next breath, I invite you to visualize all of us, Indigenous sisters from across the world, standing in a great circle. Picture each of us, each of your hands holding the hands of a sister beside you. Sisters from Asia, from Africa, from Latin America, and the Caribbean, we are all here. We are all present. Breathe in deeply, and as you exhale, let a soft smile form on your face. Feel that smile bring joy, warmth, and deep sense of togetherness. Now feel the earth beneath your feet, steady, strong, and ancient. As you inhale, imagine her energy rising up through your feet, moving through your legs, your hips, your heart, and your head. Let that energy fill you with strength, calm, and connection. Now feel the energy of the Creator, of Spirit, of the universe, gently pouring down from above. It flows through the crown of your head, filling your body with light. That light meets the energy of Mother Earth in your heart and flows back down again, returning to the earth in a sacred exchange of gratitude. Breathe in again, and as you breathe in, smile once again. Know that you are not alone. You are part of something greater, a circle of powerful Indigenous women, each walking a path of purpose, each bringing her light to this journey. Let that feeling of unity, of belonging, of shared mission carry you through this day. And when you're ready, gently bring your awareness back to this space and open your eyes. Thank you.
Listo, a ver si me escuchan ahí. A ver,
Sí, can you speak in Spanish, in English? English, Anna, please. Okay.
Okay, here we go. We are in English. We
Okay.
are checking English. English. Okay, so we're coming back into the room. Slowly, we're coming all together. We're starting. I would prefer ask you to open your screens so this can connect us and feel we're talking to people and not into empty airspace. There are some sisters that are not going to be able to come in. We were notified, but we're going to go ahead and start. Let me see if everybody's here. I please want to recommend you to connect. This is a commitment that you acquired, and all the information is coming into your email. We're in WhatsApp. We're trying to have different channels of communication so we can have a correct flow of interpretation. Please let us know if you can hear, and please choose the channel where you are going to be listening in, because the recording is done by channels by language, and if you're not in these channels you will not be heard, so, and to not interrupt others as well. So please, if you can check that. And here we are. We're going to start today. It is very important. And I'm going to be giving you a link so you can write the title of your research proposal and the first proposal that you sent. And then remember that we asked you to have a improved version, correct? Of your proposal, of your work, and that you did in your first draft when you applied. So you should have 2 versions already. It is probable that some of you changed the title, maybe you restructured and thought of a different title. So this is why we want to give you this link so that you can help us fill it out and write in your first title. And if you change it, the change in title, and as well as the new version. I'd like you to help me include everything. I'm putting it all together, and also notify your region. So today we're going to do a couple things. The first thing we're going to do is talk about how we're going to work our case study project, and it's going to have 2 components. And this is where I'm going to ask you before we start, so you get to know, because you haven't met them yet, the tutors, they are our colleagues who have the mission to be able to support you along the whole diploma course to build this document. They are going to be your tutors in this process. So the intention is that you see how the modals that you are that we're covering can be used to be put into making this document. So this is the theoretical aspects, the methodology, the routes, the work routes, so that you can do a very good job in your case study. So, and eventually you'll be collecting the data, and we're going into that. But before that, I'd like to present our colleagues. Maestra Lorena Lopez. Is she around? If she can please introduce herself. And please tell us what region she's going to be a tutor of. Yes, it'll be my pleasure. Have a very good day. For me, it's really nice to be able to be with you. My name is Lorena Lopez Mejia. I'm going to be with the Abby Ayala students, the researchers. So it'll be really great to serve you, that we can come together as a team. So this work and this research, this case study that you do as your incident advocacy plan, Have Heart, Have Life, be an instrument to continue to support women's in the communities lives. So this can be a research for life, for improvement, and that's my objective. We are going to agree how I can support you and ask that you have your commitment and responsibility so that together we can do this and comply with the objectives and comply with my commitment. And remember that research is for change. So thank you very much.
You intervene the emotions, the thinkings, the thoughts, and it has to see a lot how we understand the reality, that it is not against the scientific knowledge or positivism knowledge. We have the tools to understand that there's another ways to understand and leave the world, you know. So she's going to be a really good teacher for us. We also have Minmon here, and she's from the Asia region. Go ahead. Introduce yourself so our partners can meet you. I don't know if you can hear me. Go ahead. There she is.
Good morning, good
Bueno.
afternoon, evening to all our sister. It is my great pleasure to meet you all. Will be a tutor to represent Asia Group. We will be together, and I will be helping you with the process in collecting your data and conducting your research. I will be reminding you in the process, and we will be. I hope we'll be a good team, and I will be helping you in the process. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Min. You know what, Min? Min, she was a graduate from the previous research methodology, and she has the knowledge to have the area of opportunities in all this process. And sure, you're going to study really punctual topics, because she has the knowledge. She has a fresh knowledge, and she knows in what areas she needed to be accompanied. So I'm sure she's going to be really good, as I said. And feel free to ask any question and doubts. If you have problems, you can ask her, and we're here to accompany you. So we're now going with our sister from Africa, Vina. I think let me see if she's here. Our partner Vina. She was in here. She was in the United States. So the schedule things, I'm asking myself. I'm still missing a partner.
Is it
but-
Balki?
I'm sorry, Balki.
Yeah.
I get mistaken.
Yeah, I can
confused.
imagine.
I get confused.
It's okay.
Okay, I was looking for her, but okay, very good. Go ahead. Go ahead,
Okay.
Balki.
Thank you very much. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I am Balki Sububa from the Bororo Pastoralist Community of Cameroon. I am from the African region, so I'll be working with the students from the African region. The journey will really be an exciting one, and will make our intercultural research a lot of fun, because we do it in the sense that we learn at the same time we have fun with it. Because intercultural research, interacting with our communities, talking to our people, getting data from the communities is something that we do with a lot of fun. We use a lot of strategies, but it's also fun. So I'm looking forward to a very amazing and interesting experience with my students. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. But yes, we are really pleased to be here. She has a really great experience, territorial experience, national, international experience. Effectively, it seems like we're from the same region, but it results that we're from different structure, languages, food. It's really rich the way how we meet and construct build the world, and that helps us. It strengthens us. As I was telling you the previous session, it is a global space. We have a perspective, a global perspective, and it helps us to build up the how to understand the peace, the dialogue, because at the end we're working for the dialogue, for the construction of peace, the construction of knowledge that can let us to follow creating advocacy. So thank you very much. We already have presented each one of the tutors also from Africa. If you want, you can form your tutoring group, so you can have your accompaniment by region. Before we continue, remember that last week we were saying that we're going to form the work groups. So it's going to be the group that we're going to be working with along the diploma course. So I'm letting my partner Samai. She was the last year, and she also has very present the dynamics. So we're going to let Samai to help us out to in the integration of the group, so we can know in what groups we're going to be working. So if you're going to identify yourself with the name of an element, so we can manage the groups by the names of the elements. Okay, Samai, go ahead, Samai. Are you there? Yes. Hello, hello. Good morning, partners. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Help to each one of the regions where we are all scattered. I am really pleased to be here in this session with you. I'm going to turn on my camera so you can see us, we can see each other. There we are. Perfect. Thank you, Liliana. As everybody already saw in the agenda, today we're going to define how we want to carry out this diploma course. And Liliana kindly has given us some important guidelines, and I want to thank her very much. So in many occasions, behind the scenes, there are a lot of work. There are small things that the ants work that. So Liliana, she's always there behind the scenes, working, putting together all this agenda and this process. She's part of our team, and we do a lot of activities that we can't imagine. I want to tell you that I also participated with Mimi last year in the diploma course. I have the clarity what we want with FEME, and now I am. Before I was a participant as you, but now I'm in the other side of the camera, and surely for me it's beautiful. It's marvelous to know this process. This process it is not only a session, but this is a love thing, and I want to create methodologies as FEME. Even though the virtual barriers, we want to build up something together. As one partner from Colombia was explaining us, she was telling us that how important is this space, because it's going to connect us not only to study, but to generate advocacy of the problems that you have in the communities, but also create networks. So this is a space. This is a secure network. So I invite you to have that view, that we're going to get friends from different regions, continents. We're going to have a space in which we're going to understand each other. What I'm living, it's going to be similar to each one of you that you're living in your regions, because raciality goes beyond. To be an indigenous woman, to have access to education, to have challenges in the mobilization in our territories, in the cities, you know. So we know how we live discrimination by your skin color. In Latin America, it happens a lot, or discrimination of how you use your clothing. All of these things makes us situates us, and that we can create not only an investigation or research, but alive words, alive words that can tell from your voices what you feel, what you think, to generate advocacy, but also to create women that could do researches. So when we have a lot of gaps, there are a few indigenous women that we could be in this field, in the field of research and of the knowledge creation. So yes, so that's what I can tell you. That's that. First of all, what are we expecting from all of us in each one of the sessions? It's always to start with an activity connected to our spirituality, knowing that the knowledge within the indigenous peoples, it's not separated from the spirituality. The knowledge, it's not separated of the affective, the feelings, intentions. Everything is together. When we learn the ancestral knowledge of our grandmothers, from our moms, they teach us with their emotions. They don't teach us only with reason. That's why we invite you that in each one of the sessions we connect to this spirituality that we have learned in our houses, at home, or maybe we've learned with the conscience, that we have a self spirituality from me as peoples, from as an indigenous woman, for the Andean peoples that I belong to, which is in Ecuador, in South America. We always speak of the 4 elements, and I know for many peoples, regions in Central America, North America, in Europe, in Asia, Africa, America, we talk about 4 elements, really important, which are wind, fire, water, and earth. So in order to connect with these elements, I am asking you to create groups. Is that true, Elena? We're going to create groups, form groups. So I would like you to identify with, I want you to identify with what elements you're going to identify. Maybe let's say somebody could say me as, let's say I'm going to, me as Livia, it connects me more to the fire element. I am a fire element. I would like to explore in this about this element. If one of you have not thought about what element connects you, well, we invite you that in this diploma process, you can explore. And at the end of the diploma, you would say, I am very connected with this element. We're going to create 4 groups: the air group, the fire group, the water group, and the earth group. Okay. So for this, Liliana, how many people are we here? We could think by region, maybe thinking about the language, so you can easily generate dialogues, conversations. We could create 2 groups in Spanish, 2 groups in English, and I don't know. Let's say I'm going to wind and fire could be Latin America, and earth and water could be between Asia or Africa. I don't know. I'm just saying. Liliana, I'm listening. We are 15 persons. We are 15 persons. 4 in Latin America, 5 from Asia, 5 from Africa, and Sabanto, she's from the Caribbean. She's with this group, provisionally with the Asia group. I think we could create 3 groups in the in Asia and Africa. So, yeah.
Okay, to confirm, 5 from the Caribbean, 1 from the Caribbean, 4 from Latin America, correct? 4 that speak Spanish and the rest speak English. Okay, so between, if you agree, if we do it by region, there's 4. We'd have to decide if we want to do it by region or by language. I'm going to ask you, there's 2 options. One is by region, by area, by continent. We can write in the chat. Option A, by continent, by region. B, by language. So it means that Asia and Africa would generate 3 groups, because Latin America would be just the 4 that are from Latin America. Okay, so let's write it down and let's have this be a group. So Priscilla says regional, by region, or by language. Please write in the chat. A, region, B, language. Rocio, you raise your hand. You want to say something? Good morning, good afternoon, good night, everybody. Here from Latin America, we have agreed that we were identifying by elements Earth, and I'm wondering if this could be respected, or we're going to change this. Okay, that's perfect. That's perfect. Right? Yes, I believe that there was already a previous conversation. Okay, great. So I understand Latin America is already coming together and conversing, and you've chosen Earth. Okay, perfect. The majority of the comments here is to get organized by region, correct? Okay, so Asia, what element would you like to choose? You've come together, have you, or maybe a representative that might want to choose a element, same for Africa. Caribbean is only one person, so here, let's find a way to support her. So please let us know what element. Asia, African, Caribbean. What element? Or should I help you choose? I'd like you to choose. Maybe you've already chosen previously. Maybe you have already chosen. Someone from Asia? Liliana, could you help me? Who are from Asia? Priscilla's here. Okay, so do you all agree? Okay, Asia has spoken. Water. Africa and the Caribbean. Please, please help me pronounce your name. What's the correct way to pronounce your name, please? We're missing the Caribbean.
It's Sabantho. Yeah, yeah. You're welcome. I'm also part of the Asia group, though. Yeah.
Who is from the Caribbean? She's from the Caribbean, but provisionally she was assigned to Asia. But because she's alone, but you can define whatever you prefer. If she's gonna work alone, or if she's gonna be part of the group. Let's choose the best route. Sabato, would you prefer being with Asia or on your own? Being in group? That'd be better for you, right? Yes. Okay. So you can share with others. Okay. So you don't feel alone. Okay. Of course. Great. Okay. So we're missing Africa. Africa. What element would you want to choose between fire and wind? Africa has chosen air. Okay, perfect. Kalim has mentioned this in the chat. Okay, perfect. You are air group. Okay, so I have here some points. My proposal were there's Asia with water, Africa with air, Latin America with earth, and fire. How do you feel if there's maybe one option? A, we can take fire element, like Asia, fire and water, understanding that there's Savanto is also part of this group, or maybe we can rotate this. Liliana, what do you think? So maybe each week there could be one element. How are you organizing this? Every month or every week? Regarding the sessions, yeah, every week. The invocation. So we could maybe make a calendar what element it is and who is responsible. So when it rotates, we can start maybe with water, then air, then earth, and then fire. Is someone raising your hand? No, okay. So that the first team come in, Asia do fire. And so then in this next round, then Africa will also do fire. And then in the next round, Latin America will also invoke fire. So these are the moments of invoking the element. So it depends on how many rounds we're going to do with the elements. But how do you feel about this? Because there's only 3 groups and there's 4 elements. That can be, or we just stay with 3 elements. And then, of course, with each invocation, we can have the element fire present, maybe a candle or something that is representing fire that is always with us. It is like the mother element that is going to hold us all. So we can just keep the 3 groups: water, air, and earth. So then we don't have to switch and get confused, or that's my proposal. I was thinking, and maybe somebody else has another proposal, maybe we could have fire, and so we could add fire to each of the elements so that we could all have this element, so that we don't exclude fire, and to not be changing things, because it might be confusing if we change the dynamic. So that would be my proposal. Okay, I agree. Does everybody agree? Because I think fire is always going to be with us. It's the light.
So,
It's clarity.
hello.
Hola.
We can add the fire since we have 3 elements already. With each group, we can add fire to all the 3 elements because we know that fire is light and so on. So each, like for example, Africa can work on air and work on fire. The other people work on earth and fire. So we can put fire like in all the 3 so that we shouldn't miss it out.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. We're good. Okay, great. Let's keep going. Who would like to start? Who would like to start in the order in which you subscribed? So it could be Earth, Latin America, and then next week it would be water plus fire, as we said, with Asia, and then air and fire with Africa. So once we finish, then we're gonna start again. Latin America, then Asia, then Africa, and the cycle ends, and then we start again. Each week, it would be a different group. So it means that next week, on Tuesday and Friday, Latin America would be a group with Earth would have a small space to that is already prepared, where you will share with us. I think it's 10 minutes, right, Liliana? So that we can invoke the element, connect from this element, have a small spiritual space. So everybody's in the chat, so we'd like you to invite you to generate smaller group chats as well, so that you can come together as element and you can converse, put in ideas and what you'd like to present in the invocation sections for each element, starting our sessions. Okay, any questions up till now? Okay, so it would be worth it with Liliana to create a calendar for each for the whole journey, so you can be very clear. And yes, of course, yes. So I'm gonna give you an Excel so that you can check there, and if there's any changes, we can change it there. We can have a collective calendar there for all of us. Okay, perfect. If you don't have any questions, let's go into the next section and we can advance. Am I going to share my screen, or Javier, or how do we do this? We can ask communication team if they can. Otis, could you please help us by sharing this presentation? Thank you. Okay, here we go. Yes, I have it here at hand. Okay, perfect. Okay, here we go. I'm sorry, Samai. I just wanted to, so that we don't forget, in the same group before each session, few days before, or if you might need any tools, more than tools, materials for the invocation, you could let us know in the group. So if for water, you might need people to have water, a vase of water, or flowers, or fruits, or whatever you need for the invocation moment. So please let us know in the WhatsApp so we can all know what we're gonna need for the next day, no? So feel free to write it down there so we can all be prepared and in the same symphony. Okay, so we're gonna share. I'm sharing my screen. Can you see it? Okay, perfect. So I'm going to have, here's my cover. Here's my first slide. I just want to make sure you can see it. Yes? Okay, perfect. Okay, so as you know, along the diploma course, we will have our tutors by region, and as well, we will have documents that we're gonna create as we are doing our research project. So we have two main documents that I'm gonna share with you now. Each one of them is in Moodle in the platform. Okay, so that you can download. So I'd like you to take notes and ask questions. This is the basis with which you will create your case study.
So this is a basic guideline how to do your case study in the protocol document. It's like the baseline where I'm going to support for a second moment to do the research. That's why it's really important to have clarity. We're going to have a short time to check. Let's say with this class, we invite you to sit down and to build up your format with your main ideas, with the proposals that you did for the application of the diploma. You can work on the improvement of the document, check 1 and 2 and 3 times, because just like the classes are intensive each week, we need to go with the same rhythm in the writings. So we want to prevent everything. So we're not going to leave everything at the end. So what are the recommendations for and we need to use the Arial font size number 12. Then the line must be 1.0. The topics should be in bolded in our Arial fonts for 14 size. There are models of a research protocol. But for this, we're going to have the following points to check. It's going to be an introduction. There's going to be where it's going to be done, the name and the name of the researcher that you're going to have in the Word document. You just need to replace with your informations. Then that was the first, was the cover page. And then we have the introduction. You have the introduction of your case study. It indicates in a general way. Let's say I did my case study was about sexual violence against women, against old women that goes over 65 and more. So what I did in the introduction was to explain a little bit where is going to be done the investigation, conducting the investigation, what's sexual violence, what are the index, but I did it in a general way, and how it affects in the topics of indigenous women. And then I concluded explaining about what I'm going to do the research. It's a case study, right? So a general thing is present the document. Then we have the justification. Here is why, the why. Why am I doing my research? The reasons, the arguments that holds why I believe the investigation is important in the case study. Why is it important to me to choose violence based on gender and not just climate justice? So we need to situate in our topics and justify why with that data, with what the grandparents tells us, with our knowledge from the territories, maybe from researchers that have done in previous works. And even though if we don't have a research with that particularity, so it's justify why I chose or why I choose this topic, why is relevant. Okay. Now, the context where the case is inserted. Once we talk about the presentation in a general way, we talk why we did this. Why am I situating this study case? Why am I choosing this person, if it's a person, or this group, or I choose this problem in this community? Okay. I go from the big view to a specific view. I describe the space where I am, the context where I'm producing or conducting. In my case, it was sexual abuse. I also talk about the violence phenomenon. If a woman faces a violence, sexual violence, it's not it's not one just case. It is a collective. It responds to patriarchal structures, macho culture. Maybe it's a religious topic that the religious people don't let us to speak about sexual violence, but the context situated in your community. Because we see a lot of that kind of topics in many investigations, research. It must be situated in your context, in your community, in the place where you're going to conduct your research. And then we have the case study background. What happens with the case study? How it happened? How it started? I don't know the territory, Mary's territory or Patty's territory. So from the writing, you're going to transport into your territory. The background of the case study, you're going to explain the characteristic of the situation. Okay. In my case, it was a case study about a woman. So what I did was I explained what happened in the case of sexual abuse, how it happened, in what moment it happened. So explain a little bit like within what situation happened, how it happened. Finally, we have the objectives. Something that is missing here is the cover page. We need to have the topic already chosen. The objectives must be related to the research topic, right? We need a general objective. We need to finish with in infinitive, to do, develop, investigate, describe, verbs in infinitive. It goes the same with the specific objectives. This could be 2 or 3. Which are these? What do they want to accomplish with the investigation, right? From this problem, to know what's the problem and what's the problem? I want to show the problem, or I want to retrieve the knowledge. It depends on your research, what you want to do. For each one of this phase, you're going to have accompaniments. That's the tutorings. But the tutorings are to generate questions, reflections, right? So previously, we must have already the protocol, so we can have questions to generate specific questions about something, about a topic. We need to do the place delimitation on the place delimitation means it's going to be done in 2 territories. Or we could say, no, I want to choose only 1 territory, depending your case studies and the reach that you want to accomplish in your case study. And the temporal delimitation refers to if I want to take the year 2024 to 2025, or maybe for 5 years, I don't know. How many years do you want to do this investigation? In how long you want to work this investigation, like how many years? Okay, you will have that advice with the tutors and facilitator. How are the case studies? They must be short. My recommendation would be something really brief, not a research about 10 years. That would be for a PhD. It should be brief, clear, and specific. The geographical coverage. The community, in your community, you have different areas. Or if you're going to work in 2 communities, and you have sectors, so within the sectors, you're going to generate the research in all these sectors. So we need to place from the big view to the small view. What region, what country, what's the ancestral territory, everything that is related to the geographical coverage to do the investigation. The time frame that it's going to cover the period covered by the case study about recollecting seeds in 2025 to 2026. So something that indicates the year of the research investigation, and also the person that you're going to consult with. So you already know that this is our research. It's intercultural research. So it's valid. It's valid, the testimonies and the voices of our grandparents, grandfather, grandmother, because our research is going to rescue and guard the voices of the communities. That's why the woman group, let's say, the caretaker elders, or the woman from my community, if there's any woman organization. So it depends on what your case study is. What person are you going to talk with? And finally, the approximation of the chapter or the contents of the case study. It belongs to the number of the objectives. If you have 2 objectives, it's going to respond to those 2 objectives. If you have 3 objectives, so you're going to, if you have 4 objectives, so normally that's how it works, our research. So remember, this is a short research, and mainly you will need to do a lot of things, seeing the limitations and the challenges that you will have in the communities. So this diploma is going to be a start, a beginning, but then you can continue investigating, you can continue doing your research. But it must be something short, brief, clear, and punctual. But that doesn't mean that that doesn't mean that it's not quality research. It has to be a quality research. So we have some question about what chapters and sub-chapters. And then we're going to do the methodology. What approaches, methodology, maybe gender, maybe human right approach, or maybe from the quantitative or qualitative approach. Each one, the intercultural methodology, intersectional methodology, at least. So being an
this it allows me to see the cross between gender or other aspects. Okay, so we're going into methodology. What am I going to do? First, I'm going to look into the bibliography. Am I going into the territory, into the communities, a groundwork, and then I'm going to transcribe my data. Maybe I did my interviews in my own language, and then I analyze, I systematize. How are you going to, what method, what techniques are you going to use? Are you going to use focus groups? Are you going to do interviews, dialogues? What kind of technology, I want to think about within these methodologies, what are traditional ancestral methodologies that are there that have been used to generate knowledge? What are our methodologies? If focus group, all these other ones are academic methodologies. What are ours? What are the names, our ancestral names that we've used for this research, for any kind of research? So I'd like you to look into what these methods are, what these could be that recovered. And then we're going to look into the bibliography, what information sources, what data sources we're going to use. We have to make sure that we give credit to the people, that we quote the people that we use. And if it's a person, it's the same as it's valid as a book, because these are living books. But you must make sure you quote correctly. Then we're going to use our timeline and make sure that we structure everything so that you don't leave everything to the end. Every week you have to look into what you're going to do to be able to comply with your research, with your investigation. Of course, if you need to move, go to a place, if you need to go and generate a space to talk to the elders, what kind of resources do you need? So you might have to structure a budget. What are the information sources that you are going to where you did this. If it was through testimonies, through books, you have to quote the information sources. So this would be all for now. Do you have any questions up to now, or we're going to share what the research is and see? So this is the protocol. This is going to help us look into how we're going to do it. This is not yet the research itself. So they're asking here, do we have this material in English? Yes, of course, it's in the modal, it's being uploaded. All the materials are going to be there in your modal platform. So of course, any questions you have or anything that's missing or anything else you need, go with your tutors, and they're precisely who are going to walk with you to be able to do this research. So what Samai just said, this is very important. This document is this protocol, as we call it, is the path that you're going to tell us, this is what I'm going to do to be able to do this investigation. So this protocol, this is the proposal, research proposal, when you want to maybe go into a call for a project, and you're going to show them, this is my plan, this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into these authors, I have this timeline, this methodology is what I'm going to use. These are my tools. I'm going into this community. I'm not going to take 100 years. Of course, they're going to say no. So this got to be this period between this government or during this municipality governance or whatever. You know, it has to be quite structured. And this can give us the certainty that this is going to help you go into doing the actual research. It's going to be much easier. It helps us see the plan and help. If Mon or Balki might want to say something regarding this for Asia and Africa colleagues here regarding what we just talked about and what Samai shared. Would anybody like to, any questions or comments that, or anything that you would want to compliment?
Thank you very much, Liliana. For me, I think it's a good methodology so far. From the way it is structured, I think that is really good because it will really bring out all the elements we need in the intercultural research and all the advocacy plan. Because if we look at it from the introduction, from the justification, the context, the limitation in terms of time, space, and everything, we will kind of have something that is well structured and something that is coherent. At the end of the day, we'll have the research, how it started until how it ended. So for me, I think the methodology is a very good one. So far, it's good. And another thing is I insist more on these techniques of collecting data, where we have the traditional methodologies, we have the ancestral methodologies, we have like focus group discussions that we do in communities and so on. So here there is a lot of work to be done there. That's where almost the core, the advocacy plan, because that is where we will get the results of our findings. Because if we don't take this serious, that's where we'll miss the whole thing. Because you can have a good introduction, you have a good vision. At the end of the day, if you don't have a good methodology, how to outsource the data from the communities and from the people, your informants, that's when it becomes a problem. And another thing is how to analyze this data that they get from the communities. They have to look at how do they analyze this data to come out with the results of the data. And they have to use more of still the techniques like the qualitative, quantitative, as well as the traditional methods to come out with the results they are finding. So for me, it is very, very important and it's very key. So thank you very much, Liliana.
Exactly, correctly. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's continue. Let's keep going. to the next presentation, as Liliana mentioned, this is the first part for everything we have to do in our research. So we have two phases. First phase is this protocol, this proposal. Once we are finished with this proposal, then we're going into the structure phase, into to the report of our case study. So let's see. I'm going to share, and this, of course, takes from the protocol. It's not a totally different document. It takes from what you've already been working at from the protocol. So this is very good that you do a very solid protocol proposal, because this is going to help you very much into be able to execute your research. In the first phase is you say how you're going to do it, and then in the second phase you are doing it, and then you are systematizing your information. Okay, so here we're going to go into the guide, into the structure. This is a presentation of your finalized research. So here's some recommendations as well. It's the same type of letters and size, the Arial size 12, same indications that we asked for the proposal. This proposal, it also has a cover that you've already done for your protocol, an index. This is very important. Add this, the introduction. It's going to be more focused into what you've done in the protocol, and the objectives and methodology that you've applied in your case study. So here you have to go order a little more, maybe once you've done the protocol and you've done the research, maybe there's been some adjustments, some changes, so you must add them here. You also have to add acronyms. Each country has organizations, places in which they acronyms are used. And here we're going to start to define them, to describe them, so it could be understandable. So if these are words that we're going to use often. Here we have the executive summary. Please remember that you've already talked about the context in which your case is inserted in. And so then the second and third points that are the biggest. Here's the reference framework from which the feeling of the indigenous women. So this is very important, to give strength. From where are you writing from? Where are you situating yourself? Where are you placing yourself? It's not the same thing to write when you're an indigenous woman in your thought and feeling as a indigenous woman, to do a bibliographical analysis of what an author is saying. And of course we've done this, and maybe you've been into university or a master's degree or college or specialization. It's always like this. But here we want to situate yourself, which are, yes, these women, indigenous women, my elders, my aunts, other women in the community. Who are they? What is their strength of their knowledge, their wisdom? Oh, think of them as the agents, not as objects of study, but agents. I would like you to write from me, from a first person, I. In difference of the traditional academic methodologies, we always analyze what the other is saying. Here we can start talking from I, from myself. I, as a Quechua woman from this community, I have seen, I have talked, I have thought, I've generated spaces with other fellow women. And this, I don't necessarily want to say I have this knowledge, because you are going to guard, you're going to take this collective knowledge of the community and guard it. But you're showing yourself as people, as subjects and not objects, and have a horizontal dialogue with the women in your community, with the voice of your elders, of your mothers, of the leaders of your community. It is very important to have gender perspective here, to be able to show what the leader does, what my mother does, is always a reivindication act from her home, from her territory. So starting to look at things with deeper eyes, that each activity that is done in our territory is a very important knowledge. And this, I have to be able to put this, they are my framework, my reference framework. And then we're going into the findings of the research. Here are the chapters, the structures that you've previously done. Here is where the chapters are being developed, or if you've done some work from, you've analyzed, you're translated, here you're going to write it into this chapter. You're going to develop maybe you have the title and the subtitles as it corresponds. If you do some, you're going to do analysis of this, you're going to conclude, reach conclusions or recommendations. And then there's a very important, big and important point that is not less important because it's in the end, but it's the closing. It's the most important aspect, in that, as you know, for of us from indigenous communities, we have a lot of challenges and needs. It is important to generate advocacy incidents into the problem that I'm talking about, that I'm going to talk about in my research. Doesn't just stay in this piece of paper and put away, that it might really serve as a incidence possibility for our rights. So this is why we're going to do an incidence advocacy plan. This also has its own format, and we're going to upload it into our Modal platform as well. This incidence plan is going to help us think about how this case study can move in our women in my community, with the authorities, with the local or national authorities, with the international authorities, depending of your focus of the topic and how far you want to make incidents. And it's going to show you your networks. Maybe there's strong women networks, or regionally.
What are you doing, each one of you? So you can do that mapping, and that you yourself are going to be the international network to do advocacy in regional and global level. In this case study, really, it is really, really beautiful. I would like you to take it as a gift to your lives, because not many times you have spaces for research where you want to work and do the research and do advocacy for your territories. So I really feel that the tutors, facilitators are going to give you, provide you tools that you can generate knowledge from your communities as women, but also as researchers, to show your knowledge, to see the problems and to generate change, because that's the idea. And then we will do the conclusions, the recommendations, the bibliography, everything that you have used as sources, like knowledge sources. And finally, you will add or place the annexes, the information collected in the community. It could be photographs of your territories or the methodologies that you used. Okay, so that goes to annex. So that's how you're going to do it. So I believe minimum it's going to be around 25 pages. It's really 20 pages. So it's really short. It's a small document. So from the macro, we're going to synthesize. We need to not to be redundant, but to be clear with what we want. We have to be explicit with what we're doing. And here I have somebody raising her hands, teacher Lorena. She's the one that knows a lot about this topic. She's going to take more time, so she's going to explain it really thoroughly. So this is what I'm doing is just a presentation, just to have an idea. With the tutors, we will see it point by point, topic by topic. Lorena, please. Good morning. I wouldn't like to talk more, but Samai has been cleared. She has the experience. She had the experience previous to this diploma. Now she's with us in this diploma. So when we talk about the reference framework, we are referring to that there's the opportunity that for you to show the information according to your research variables. Let's talk about food sovereignty and the rights of women in the, I'm sorry. So you will have variables. It's not writing from, you know, it's not writing from, I'm sorry, from the theory. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm having some health issues. I'm coughing a lot. So the idea is to write definitions that you have conducted from a collective way, from that your field think dialogue with the woman, with the community, with the elders about food sovereignty, definition constructed from your field thinking, from you. You take all the knowledge from the peoples, and also you bring it from the original languages. We're not going to call it theoretical framework, but reference framework from the field think. So we are creating our own epistemology, our own knowledge. In that section is going to be the definitions that you manage to identify. We're not going to place what the scholars have said about this topic, but we're going to do it from the roots of our peoples. So it's going to be from a situated knowledge. It has to be from a person, but the idea is to have that category, that definitions written from us. Let's say this case study led us to create and give a definition, to create a concept about what food sovereignty is, about violence, what the women think about violence, about exile, about forced exile, according to the topic that you're going to work or conduct. So I wanted to emphasize that point. Yes, you are right, Lorena. Thank you for situating this topic about framework, reference framework. I remember when I had your support, your advice, when I worked on sexual abuse in my language. we can't find that word sexual abuse in my language. But yes, there are many other words that describe when somebody harms you without your consentment, without your permission. So you translate it literally. So even it's a search of words in your own words, and work on your own definition about the conceptual framework, or based on what you have learned in your community, or you have generated dialogues with the peoples in the community. So it's really important to highlight the topic of language, like the original languages here, because what we're translating into Spanish or English, in many times it's not the same what you conceived or understood in your own language. Okay, so that differences, we need to add them in your reference framework. I also have something that I remember. I was referring to the third age person. I don't know if you refer to this person like this, people of the third age, but in my language, we don't have that word, third age. In many times in the conception, let me see, Lorena. I'm sorry. Oh, Lorena. She's asking. They are asking. There. Okay, here in chat. Okay, so when I used to write down third age, it referred to people that don't have strength. It's referred to somebody that that is not walking. Somebody that is excluded from the society. It referred to somebody that do not produce anymore, that is not productive anymore. So that's the idea. Sometimes even these people, they are brought into a children stage. So in my language, we don't have the third age. We have grandfather, grandmother, or mom. That it's like mother or taita, father, but we don't have third age people. So when you refer to somebody that goes beyond 60 years, it's with a lot of respect. So the conception is different when we talk about ages. So I don't know if I explained myself, I was clear. So I invite you to do a reflection on the concepts, like the variables, with the verbs that you're going to work with. It's not the same as in Spanish, in English, and also not the same in your own language and your territory. So that's it. Now, Liliana, please. And no, I believe that this discussion is really important. It's necessary. Thank you very much, Lorena, because this is the space to clarify all those dots. Also, if Mon wants to say something, if the sisters want to participate, feel free to participate. Raise your hands. Here, we're all learning. We're working on the road. We're constructing the pathways. So each one of us have our experience. So a little bit to bind, like to bring together and strengthen this, what Mary says. It is really important. Here, I share another case. For example, if I already worked on my protocol, the pathway, that how I'm going to carry out my research, as a result, I should get these findings when I'm in fields, when I'm talking, when I'm eating a communitarian food, when I'm dancing a communitarian dance. That's the way of transmitting knowledge that the academy does not take into account. But I am, when I visit the place, in this space means another thing, this means another thing. You need because surely there's something that they're trying to tell me, maybe from the scholars from the academy. I can observe that the feet do not that the feet are planted on the ground, but the researcher is not going to feel what it means to dance with your barefoot on the floor, and the people that is dancing, that is feeling, that is thinking, that is reflecting, and that is doing a reflection with the earth, with the land. And that's an investigation that we need, a research that we need to situate in our territories. Us as indigenous researchers, we need to take into account all of these things and to recognize the communities. One of the things that was sharing the teacher, variables. What are the variables? This is what we're going to talk about. What I want to understand, right? In my research, I'm going to work with variables. Variables are like categories like violence, human rights, maybe conflicts. They are categories that are there that I define from my research. But maybe I don't have the content that it should have from an intercultural perspective, situated perspective. For example, if my variable is from the southern research for the third age people, that's like a definition. It has a definition from the law, from the norms, rules. Amy, please, can you please close your mic? Can you mute your mic? Can you mute your mic? Okay, ready. So I hope I didn't okay, so these categories that we have there, the categories that have definitions. To have a conversation, I need to understand what it means. But it has a definition. If I talk about human rights, it has a definition. I have another definitions. When we do researchers, it's a specialization. It has its implication. There's
this framework from our own construction, from our feeling thought, from being from the indigenous communities, from being indigenous community. For example, what is happiness as a category? Generally, these questions, I'm an anthropologist, so generally the anthropological questions is trying to understand what is happening there. So a question, an anthropological question could on happiness could be, how is this concept developed? How is happiness developed, and how does it lived in a community? Well, okay, so if I'm going to say that happiness is probably, I'm going from a previous definition, or in my mind, I'm thinking that this is happiness. So from this question, a lot of other questions come up. So I go into a community and ask them, so what's happiness? How do you live happiness? How do you understand it? How you eat it? How do you breathe it? And then we have to have build it, maybe in we have a generalized idea from English or Spanish as conquerors language. They're preconceived ideas of what is happiness. But we don't know what happiness is within a specific community and how they live it, or justice. I would go to a place and I would try to analyze what is happiness. Or so this is a word that Hotku That's the category in my language. So when I started analyzing it, and maybe like a corn husk, and you're removing the leaves, each one, and it's like removing the layers. And so you see, this category has multiple implications, and it turns out that happiness, as a Western concept, doesn't refer to any part of the feeling if in my body. Where do you feel happiness? If I ask you, where do you feel happiness? How do you feel it? My question was restructured to think, well, happiness does have to do with the body here, does have to do with the body, and it has to do with balance. And the category happiness doesn't say balance from this or Spanish or an English language. It doesn't refer to balance. It doesn't refer to balance at all. So I believe that I just think it's a feeling. But when I start seeing deeper, happiness has to do with it being in the stomach, and that stomach has to have a balance with the body. So I understood that this category, happiness in the Ayu community, is related, that your stomach is balanced, because from your stomach the feelings come out, and it has to be in balance with your body, with the rest of your body. A balanced stomach, so that my body is in balance, so that's what happiness is. My body in balance with my feelings that are in my stomach, in my belly. So happiness is not in my heart, it's in my stomach. And from there, I was able to see that this is from where medicine comes out of. It is connecting happiness with the stomach. And they say there's eat a bad in the stomach, then they go see how your stomach is. And of course, the heart plays a very important role, but it's in a different dimension in the body. So these categories have their own structure. What I do know is that my happiness has to do strongly with my stomach and with balance. And this is how the energy, the balance, or self-love is created. So see, you have to see that these are two totally different visions that have nothing to do with each other. And this allowed me to how did I reach this? When I listened, when the methodology of listening and really listening and what they're saying, not even I had realized, and many, probably the people in my community, hadn't thought about this either. But we've had the privilege to study and analyze. There's a lot of people are, talking about happiness, and it's there, but it's not just something that's simple as that. It has to do with the earth, with balance, with energy. And Western science says that what happens to the body comes through the mouth, and has to do with everything we eat. And maybe you know this as well, that they're telling us, what are you eating? What are you eating? What's your stomach like from what you eat? But this is why we have all this knowledge that's related with what we eat, and we're able to revert a lot of things if we are able to position ourselves from our own knowledge, from our wisdom. And we understand that each region has different colonization processes, at least in Latin America, that from there was a strong thought of that what you have here, your knowledge, is not worth anything. And so epistemologically, I don't see myself as an indigenous person. And if I'm educated and I see this, and this is part of the internal colonization. So this is terrible, this idea of rejecting ourselves. And that's the objective in building this knowledge, to be able to stop and look and analyze what's happening. Education concept, are we documenting this as well? It turns out that education is also from this category, is also something we share regarding the analytical category. We more or less have the same idea in Spanish and English. But then when I go into my town and we start discussing this, it turns out that this, as it said in my language, it's the education going into school, just education. But when you start looking at the word, it's two things. One has to do with being sitting down all the time and your bum hurts. That's education. Tell me if this is not true, in a way that you're just sitting there as a person, a passive person, just sitting, seeing what the teacher is, and that's what the elders came up with. Tjechtokten is when you're in a place and you're just sitting there, holding yourself or getting pain in your bum. That's one way to understand the concept. And the other one is your eyes. You have your eyes and you acquire the knowledge through your eyes, and you take it in. And these are two categories. When we go deeper, it turns out that education as such, formal education, is in a specific place, in a time, in a primary school or kindergarten, secondary school. So this whole formal process, and this is how it's defined: doctorate, postdoctorate, everything we know about. But when we start reflecting on this, it turns out the elders are saying, no, you can't tell me that the knowledge starts in kindergarten. It turns out that our knowledge is so wide that school is a minimal part of everything we're going to get to know in the world, because I know when I'm an authority, when I'm a healer, when I plant, when I do work, tekyo, free work for the community, when I play an instrument and I'm in a band, when I play, I learn in the wherever I go, in the river, in the ocean, in an airplane. My mind is open and is acquiring this knowledge. So this category, education, this is referring to something very small. And for me, my category is the waking up. What I understand as Nayu people is waking up. When the babies have their eyes closed and they open their eyes, and not only do they open their eyes, they incorporate, not only incorporate or take in, there's going to be a moment where they take everything in and they have to mobilize that knowledge into the service of their community. In the schools, what we have is just opening and taking in, and that's it, but never putting it to serve the community, this knowledge that they are acquiring. Because when you start putting it into action or movement, you're learning more and more. So it turns out that within this concept of education, work is going to allow you to mobilize. The free work, in particular, the work you do for your community, is going to help you mobilize these concepts, these knowledge, and you take it in, you take it in, you take it in, and then is when you have real knowledge. So these categories are the frameworks, the references. So you start dialoguing with other concepts that are other categories that are built from the Western point of view, and from our point of view, what we're to understand really what we're trying to say with these categories for ourselves. So these are things that are very important, so that so we can all understand how we're thinking about this, because that's what you're going to give to knowledge. A global documentation of what women are doing. So don't you think this is extraordinary, what we're going to be able to contribute? So these are just a few examples, so that to help you understand and visualize what we're going to try to do. Because we have this the point of view of the positive knowledge. But we are but it's the idea is for us to be able to restructure, rethink the concepts, the trains of thoughts, and everything we talked about. All these documents are going to be in the modal. Anybody who wants to say anything that might want to participate? No one? Everything is perfectly clear?
Yes, hello.
Yes, come on.
I was just wondering when this research would have to take place by.
Yes, we're gonna look at the calendar in a minute. We have a calendar. We're gonna show you. Don't worry about it. Yeah, that's the next topic, I think. But does anybody else have a question that you might want to participate? Maybe Mignon might might explain what were your challenges, what was your process during your research, so that you could the colleagues here, our sisters, can understand that maybe I hadn't thought about this, and it turns out that I didn't see that there was a celebration in the community, but it would also maybe it helped me gather some other information, or maybe some details that you lived through that changed what you had planned. Go ahead. Only to remind everybody, as you were saying in the beginning, the protocol is key. In this protocol, you must have within it a point of view that is decolonialized, and this is not easy. We were trained in universities in different disciplines, but with a Western focus, where the knowledge of the people is empirical. It's a source of information. The communities, the women are units of analysis, and so there's been a epistemic extraction. They take this information, they conceptualize within the Western knowledge and point of view, and then the communities are looked at from there. And the challenge is that we leave this behind, that we take it off, that we leave this anthropological, anthropocentric point of view, individualistic point of view, individualist, so that we can come close and bring all this knowledge, recuperate from this knowledge from the mother, from our home, from our communities, from Mother Earth, and that we come in as one more into the community.
The one that writes, the one that recovers, the one that retrieves that knowledge that has been seen as empiric, like it's just knowledge, like Southern knowledge, like European or North American knowledge. So we have that challenge not to repeat in our protocols that approach, to start writing from what we feel like original peoples from Africa, from Abya Yala. So for example, when we talk about the research approach, the challenge is, let's talk about the knowledge of the peoples, the cosmovision of the peoples, the cultural approach, the knowledge of the peoples, the knowledge of the original peoples, the woman. It's not less than the Western science. We have our science. So that's the challenge. In our protocol, we need to show this, and also the cross-cultural thing, the multiple views, etc. That's the challenge we have right now. Do not complicate ourselves when we're writing. We need to write from our field think. When we're looking for bibliography, that's another challenge. We need not to put colonized information. But we need to get resources from our sectors, from our peoples. Liliana is a researcher. She has research the same as Samai. We need to look for information and resources, bibliography of researchers from our people, from our towns, villages. So that's what we need to do. We need not to just go to the scientific bibliography. No, it's to recognize that the original peoples, they have their science. They have originated science from a very long time ago. So that must be seen in the protocol. This is a big challenge to represent what we are writing. We need to retrieve that knowledge, that capacity, resilience capacity, that advocacy, that fight about our problems. Not only talk about our problems. Let's talk about resilience, about the strength of our women and people, and we're going to construct our protocol from that point of view. It's not just research. I have a certificate. My research has the commitment to generate a proposal, an action proposal together with the woman, with the community, with the organization, with what I'm going to be working with. So that's the challenge we have ahead. I believe in the tutoring, we're going to talk a lot about this. So don't be afraid to write, because sometimes we quote the authors, a lot of quotations about the authors, and we don't write what we feel or think. Here, what we need to write is the voice, the field think of the researchers. The voice of the collective, the community, the history that we have in our communities. In the studies, we need to reflect the field think and the worldview of the woman, the child, the earth, the water that we are going to work with. So it's not just copy paste of a bibliography. So sometimes it has happened that we just copy and paste from what other things, and we fill the research with that kind of quotation. So we need to write. We need to work this as an ancestral heritage. So that's it. Thank you very much. There, Rocio, go ahead. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good night, good evening, I'm sorry. I'm going to talk according to what Liliana said. Excuse me, we can't hear you very good. We can't hear you very good. So the interpretation could do a good job. I think I'm here in Oaxaca, in your city. It is really hot here. I have like 5 fans, ventilators. You imagine yourself, I'm really hot here. So I'm sweating. Okay, my research topic, the access to justice, and it's a topic because I was a indigenous representative I started a legal process for the recognition of the representation of our people in my community. And so you find out that the current system is based on a Western system. There are not collective laws. We don't find collective laws. I represented some a law suit that I gained to win this fight. But what we need to do is to keep working in this to recognize the communities, our indigenous community. And precisely, I was analyzing that and realize that the current laws that we have in our cities, they are individual laws. They don't advocate for collective rights. So I'd like to focus myself to work on the possibility to open up a pathway that could take us, that could lead us to the recognition, even how we live in our communities, how we organize and how we live. Maybe it was not last that what we have in our community there we don't have last. We have our ways of how to identify and how to organize ourselves. So because of this situation, I am trying to work on this topic. As Sister was saying, as Sister Lerna was saying, I think we need to wake up and work with all the knowledge that we have in our community, because the way of education makes us to see the things differently, our worldview differently. So we're losing our identity or interest in our own communities. For example, a few days ago, I published the topic on my community about a really important topic. So they are really really excited about this, because they have the possibility that together we can achieve that our community could be recognized, because the basis of our education is the woman. So we need to start using our own terms. So that situation motivated me really. I thought I was advanced in some topics, but the benefit, it was only for me, so I could represent my community. So this is where this is when I realized that I need to start working on this topic, so we can use our own ways of organizations and laws. That's all. Thank you very much. Thank you, Rocio. Mari has raised her hand. Go ahead, Mari. We can't hear you. I think you have to unmute your mic. Good morning, sisters. Good evening. Good afternoon. Blessings, first of all. Have heard you really good, and for me it's an honor to be in this diploma, to listen to you. Your experienced woman, you have knowledge. I'm going to learn a lot in this research process. The topic that I chose to work, it was the resources. I'm going to work with this topic because we have a collective law that is called the law of our territory. We have an executive statement. In this case, there we have a national conflict, and when we have a national conflict, my people, at the end, it happens a lot of things, big things. As I have seen in social networks, the government somehow they're afraid of us, mainly about the territory advocacy. And also at this moment I have 4 points. The social security, that's a law that the government will approve. That's a law that does not help the youth. And also there's another law that's going to be open up an office. So that's a really sensible topic for us. The people, the community, we are united. We're together. When we're going to fight, we're going to fight together. We have seen critical situation in our territories. There we have a lot of it's militarized. We have military in the territory, along the territory. With this situation happening at this moment, we have a lot of people, partners that are in jail. And my community has intervened in this fight. Why did I choose this topic, the territory and our resources? We have a law, but that's a law, collective property, like collective right. There's when the other side of the coins come. In this fight of the people have come out to the streets, and we want to fight. We have authorities. Well, I think we have more authorities than people, like community, but we haven't seen the authorities here in the government. The authorities are not present here. We can't see the authorities at this moment. As I'm feeling like abandoned, without my authorities, without my leaders. That's the same feeling my partners, my brothers, my sisters, that they have that same feeling. That's how we feel. Why do we feel that way? We have law, yes, but the namings or the assigning of the leaders and the elections of the authorities, the traditional authorities, the government comes and they choose the traditional authorities and the boards that we work with. So we have a salary. When you have critical problems, they disappear. That's why I'm really worried, and also my partners, they are worried for this situation. That's why I chose this topic. I don't know, I'm going to think really good. I'm going to analyze it really good, because I think they're giving me ideas with what you have shared with us.
I get some ideas on what you've talked about as experts with these topics and protocols to follow. And I know I'm going to learn so much from you. As always, I've always thought, and you've reaffirmed this, that the true libraries are in our lands, through our elders, our ancestors, and that's where we're going to go to converse with them, to take the information that we don't have, that is not written down, but the libraries are in the communities. When I say libraries in the communities, is because we have our grandparents, our ancestors, our true leaders that have not been consulted, that have not been taken into account. And unfortunately, in other cases, we have our authorities, I don't even know how to say this, that maybe they only become authority because of a salary and I think my elders that truly fought to give us a legacy to care for the territory that we have to take care of. There are some authorities that we have to date, this is not their priority. They don't have this in mind. And I say this because truly, and I unfortunately came in late. I always try to collaborate when these things happen, and as I can. I felt very angry. I am very angry for what is happening in the country. And people are looking at us as the heart of the world. Maybe I'm disgusted with all these things that are happening. That we live well, that there's lots of money, and yeah, there is lots of money. Lots of money comes in, but it's for six wealthy families, and to the rest of the people, this benefit doesn't reach them. And right now, the government is trying to divide the organizations, is trying to divide the leaders. They're trying to pay the leaders under the table. And this is why for us that are the people, we've always been in the movement. And because of this national movement, we've been able to get benefits for the collective, not for us as the indigenous Nové people, but also it has represented blood, spilling blood, and there's been violation and violence that have been that have been not that have not been taken into account. But and there's so much impunity, there's so much corruption in our country, and I'm very thankful that I can learn here, and I want to thank for the space. Thank you. Thank you, Mari. Yes, we have a lot of challenges, as Marty is talking about. And remember that we are global, and it is necessary to say where we are from to try to understand. She's from Panama, I believe. She's connecting from Panama, and of course there's a big, strong social movement there. I believe that one of the things that crosses us as indigenous peoples, it's this system, this racist, discriminatory system against indigenous communities and territories that we're trying to combat with exploitation, with the mining companies, the lack of ethics in the work in the indigenous communities. And from there is where so many fights, struggles come out in demanding consultation with information, with the freedom to express and choose from all these experiences that we've lived through. So there are many strong fights within the UN system where great leaders, indigenous leaders, have been able to come in to make the governments take action. Nonetheless, in the territories, there's still a big implementation is a big challenge, even if there is a legal framework. And so that's why it's so important the role that we play to demand within our territories. And what we're doing is part of the defense, part of this fight, part of the resistance, and the way in the measures that we can contribute to the knowledge and the protection of the people of the communities. This will be very important. So yes, look into your documents, into the protocol structure, and it has to be very clear. The one thing that I can tell you is that if you write your protocol correctly, your proposal, everything's going to flow easily and fast because you're going to be very clear of what you are thinking, what you're going to do, when you're going to do it. So now we're going to go to when. So we have from here to August, according to our calendar. Who can remember when our last session is going to happen? And see if you've paid attention to the general calendar. When is our last session? What date is when you must present your project? Anybody? No? Okay, the presentation for the project is going to be on, there's 2 dates, but in August, 1st of August, we will have the project presentations. It's 29th of July and 1st of August. These are the sessions where you're going to present your project. So we have May, June, and July. 3 months in which we must do our research. So it's not a lot of time. It's actually little time. So this is an intensive diploma course. So we have, I'm going to show you the calendar in a minute. It's already in English and it's going to be put into the Moodle platform. So you have it there. And here's where we're going to upload all the materials in both English and Spanish, all the resources that eventually that the tutors and the teachers are going to give us, or they can directly put it in there. Mine is who's going to upload the materials. So, for example, if there's a group that says, here's a proposal or a text that might help you how to do your groundwork. And this is from an indigenous researcher who's built this methodology for your field work, or any text that might help you, how to collect the data, how to do interviews. Each tutor is going to recommend different works, and Minerva is going to have them, and she's going to upload them. Hello, Mine, here she is. She's going to be helping us to upload your text, and this is going to be by group, correct? Yes, Asia, Africa, Latin America for these are the tutoring groups. So you have all the tools. Thank you, Minute. Now we're going to see the calendar. Can you help me with this? Samai, are you around? Samai is also in another activity. Like this, Samai, and let me find it.
Aquí estoy. ¿Qué
Here we
necesitaba?
go. What do you need? Could you help me share the calendar? I can't project it for some reason. I don't know why. But here, let me tell you.
Lo
Let's see.
comparto.
Let me share. Or should I share?
Si es que ya lo tienes, adelante.
Here, if you have it, go ahead. I can't share. I don't know why. I have a
Ya lo comparto.
sign here that I can't. Yeah, let me share it. Okay, thank you. Okay, so this calendar, please, the tutors, Teacher Lorena, me, and Balki, if you have any suggestions, please let us know so that it's very, very clear. This is a proposal. So please see if we are doing good, if we're correct with this proposal, and this adjusts to the times we have. So here we go. We have sessions here, the spirituality, that is modal 1. Then we have modal 2, and each modal, of course. So we're thinking that for the protocol structure, it must be done in parallel. When the modal has spirituality, or the modal, the first part of methodology and research, intercultural research is being executed, so that internally with the colleagues, you can structure your work sessions between today until Friday the 30th of May, which is when you would have to have your protocol, your research protocol ready. We would have 1 month, 28 days, more or less, so that you can start developing this really, really well. So this is more or less the idea, the proposal. What do we expect from this proposal? We expect that you can advance, build, and put into the spirituality and the methods of research. You can put it in the views, the thoughts, the proposals, the theoretical point of view, so that you have your route based on the proposals you already have. It's just strengthening it so that on May 30th, you can hand your protocol in so that each team knows what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. So the idea is that this is done by May 30th. The next one, the next period would be, we're considering that because you already have your protocol ready, we will be executing the research project. So you'll be collecting your data. This would be also, you would be putting in your report how you're doing everything in your research. So this would be developed from the 16th of May or immediately. But if you have your protocol already, that's fine. You can hand it in previously. If this is the finishing date, but if you have it, you can get started with the next phase. So to execute your research and get your collecting your data, could you bring it up a bit, please, Samai? Thank you. There. Okay, where, yeah, the pink part. Perfect. Thank you. So here in the case of the report, if you're executing your research, if you already know how you're going to do it, you can start designing your document. Here we have the June 3rd, Tuesday. Maybe if you've already done this, and that would be ideal. That's what we recommend, because then you are saving time and you don't have to wait till the 30th to start with the next phase. But when the tutor says, okay, it's ready, I'm clear, are you clear? Okay, so go ahead. So in the next phase, it's developing the report on the case study. Here you would have to implement your proposal for your research proposal. So the idea is that you can implement your proposal, including the data collection and the analysis, as well as the theoretical framework, reference work, and your methodologies. So you have to give body to this proposal. So we have from June 30th, junio, to the 15th of July.
As I was saying, if you can work on your protocol, you can take advantage of the month and you can work really good 1 week or in 2 weeks. So that way you can have advantage on the time, okay? During the 13 sessions that includes one part of the research, of the intercultural research, and the CEDAW, the third line recommendation, you must be developing the case study report. During 1 month and 12 days, the participant integrates the data collected, what human rights. So that has to be in the document. You have a document with very good structure. So that's what we were expecting in this part. That will be handed in July 15th. As that will be the deadline. You have to work. You have to work on a pilot mode. Like you have to work with your tutor so they can accompany you. Okay. Next case. Next deliverable. Can you scroll up a little bit? Can you help? So the last phase, the last stage would be the handing in, the presentation. Can you scroll it up a little bit? There comes the last module. Research for the political advocacy. Use of evidence and definition of advocacy research. There's a part of political advocacy. You have to integrate this part really good, really good. You have to incorporate, include, and you must have the document 100% July 25. So please check the dates, because the 27th or 29th is the first presentation and the 1st of August. So those are the dates that we need to have as reference. So those are the deadlines. So we don't have problems. That the experience shows that if we do not distribute our work at the last, we are stressed up, and we work on a document that it doesn't have the requirement, doesn't fill up the requirements. So this is the proposal that we have, and the idea is that while you're working on this document, while you're learning in the modules, while you're working with the modules, you must have an idea of how to build up this document, how to work this document in your case studies. And within this, the political advocacy or the advocacy proposal. So if you have any proposal, mainly the tutors to reconsider the dates. So if you have consideration, yeah, we could change the date without any problem. So it's going to depend on how you're going to work with the partners. So if there's any recommendation, remarks, yeah, we gladly can work with it. I agree with the schedule. I think it is according to the possibility of our sisters. The final version must be the 31st. There must be the previous version. We should have the 15th already integrated. As they understand and as they work, they can send to the tutors, and the tutors can work and check, and then we can start. We can continue working on that. So to have the document the 15th, so we can start the tutoring, starting with what I already have. Maybe we could create a group, WhatsApp group, WhatsApp group for the Apiala partners, so they can work and to work on the specific tutorings. Thank you very much. That's okay. So you're saying that May 15 would be the first draft of the protocol? Yes, yes. We should have a draft for that on that date. If we have the first document the 31st, we wouldn't have the final version the 30th. That's why we're proposing that period. You need to organize how you're going to work with the tutorings and with the participants. So that way, if you have to organize yourselves, if you ask the first draft, go ahead. So, but we have to have work on the deadline. For the case of Latin America, what Teacher Lorena is saying, we need to create a group. We need to hand in May 15th, the first draft of your protocol, so she can start checking. So that's her proposal. Is that correct, teacher? Yes, that's correct. Yeah, perfect. So you can, I suggest you, someone from the same group, create a group, incorporate or add the teacher, so you can interact with the teacher. The same for the rest of the region, Africa, Asia. You can talk with your tutors, so you can have this communication, this constant communication with your tutors. Okay, so that way we can start working. Now, Minyo, Val, the same way you can organize internally how you're going to manage this work. You have this autonomy, how to organize yourselves, to generate your sessions, your extraordinary sessions. Let's say you're gonna ask somebody, well, we're here, so we need to organize this way. So that's so at a moment that your tutor is going to tell you, you know what, we need to organize and see this information. There's some information that we are lacking. I don't know how you're going to work, but consider having that possibility. We will have that period of time for the hand-ins. So the follow-up is going to be depending on how you're going to organize yourselves. Okay. Is in the group. Teacher Lorena is already in the WhatsApp group. She's already there. All the tutors are in the WhatsApp group. Okay, we're no problems. I have a question. I need to go out. I need to go to the place. So the place where I'm reaching, I will not have signal. The first with my group is next week. We're going to have our first meeting. I already sent the date. We're going to have a collective meeting. Then we're going to work on a specific schedule for the tutoring. So thank you very much. It's been an honor to be here with you and listening and learning together. Thank you, Liliana, Samay, and all the partners. Thank you very much, teacher. Okay. Thank you very much. We're creating the groups. Just like she's going to work according to her dynamics, so each tutor will have the autonomy to work. So we need to close up because we didn't have break. You are right. You are right. Totally right, Samay. They are the next points are general points. You know, general. I'd like to ask Mimon and Valky if they have any recommendation, any remarks on this matter.
Yes, thank you. And I would like to have some question. Actually, we already have our ancient groups in WhatsApp, and but I'm still not clear that who can I talk to know all the schedule that tutor when to start to do and what to do, and so that I can give the instruction to my participants so that we can start working together, and I can give them some suggestions or all the necessary things that I should talk to my participant. Actually, I even don't know they are like the topics or anything about my participant yet. So, do I have to need to meet someone who will tell me like, so you should start working on your participant for this or the timelines or something that I can have a look to guide all the participant. Yes. Any like frameworks or something like that. And where can I get it and who can I talk to?
Yes, you can talk directly with us. There's no problem. We're working together with Samay. I'm here for you. So I'm going to send you the calendar or the schedule that I have projected. For your case, I already have. So it's the same one that we're talking about. You are going to take it as reference. The hand-ins. Let's say I can tell you from May 2nd until May 31st, we have that date to build up the protocol, to work on the protocol. But if you within that period of time, you can do tutoring, you can get together, you can do it with your group according to your time, okay? That you're going to organize independently with your tutees, with your students. We're just providing a deadline, but you are going to internally work with your students. So you can check in group and do the comments. You're going to build up your schedule, work schedule, so that way you can work really good with your group. So we have the period of time. We're going to send you the documents and the components. We're going to upload on the platform, so you have the structure and you have clear what's the difference between the protocol and the report. Are you clear now? I think you know, according to your experience, the protocol and the report is something that they are different things. Okay. Grace is suggesting something for Valky. So there. But anyways, any doubts, Mon, we're here to accompany you. So the idea is that the information should flow really good. But if you need any information, we have it there. We are going to share it with you. Okay. The same you can do with the partners, like collection techniques, data collection techniques. You can work with your students. It depends on you how you're going to carry it out. Okay, you need to organize yourself. Feel free to guide them, but the final result, they must have their protocol. I don't know if I answered your questions. I cleared up your doubts. If not, send me a text message in private, and I'll talk with you, so you don't worry about it. Okay.
Thank you.
Gracias. Go ahead, Valky.
Okay, thank you very much, Liliana. Thank you very much for all the explanations. I think it is much more clear of what we are supposed to do and how we are supposed to work. And I'm also happy with the calendar that you shared, the calendar of activities, so that we know that from this period to this period, this is what we are supposed to do with the students and so on. So for our African team, what we'll do is we'll create the group, and then once we have the group for the African team, we'll be okay, because we will work according to the program. Then we will also schedule on internally how we are going to do our sessions, when we are going to have live sessions together, and we will make it a working habit. It's a daily working habit, and then not only working as a group, but I will also have to follow them individually. So any of them who is working individually, people may work on different pace. Some people will be working faster, some may be slower, some may have other reasons. So I'll try to mentor them B2B, that is one-on-one, so that we can work on the research. So for any difficulty I have, I will get back to you, since we're in the WhatsApp group and so on. So any difficulty, we'll let you know. Thank you so much.
Yes, Valky. Right now, something happened that in a moment I'm going to send you the link, so you can write down or send all the participants, like the first proposal, and then you're going to send the second, your improved proposal. I'm going to share with you with the tutors. I'm going to share the project that you sent, because we asked a improved version.
This is what you're going to have as your first resource. You're going to have titles, you'll have names and projects for the tutors, so that you're not starting from zero. You're going to have this at hand as tutors, and also the other colleagues. I'm going to send you this through WhatsApp, so you can register your title, the first version, the second version, and to the tutors, I'm going to send you the projects that they sent us. The second version, which is the more complete, the improved version, so that you have the material. What these are just timelines that we think is enough, so that you can, within that period in a month, you can organize your sessions, your tutorings. I don't know, maybe you send information, or you can say the X day you please send us advances, and then you make your observations. It all depends on how you want to get organized. So this is the end date, the 30th, or I'm allowing a couple days to review and then going to the next session period. But so that's the idea. But take this into account, because really it's going to be a lot of work, or a lot of systematization and reviewing. So we'll see your case later, Min, because you have 6 people in your Balki is 5, and Min you have 5, because Sabanto is going to be with you. So let's see how we can get organized better. So but in any case, any questions you have, we're here. For the participants as well, we're here for you. So as a commitment, it is sending your projects that we already have, filling out the formats, and you can start working on your own with your group, and we'll continue with our regular sessions. Please, any questions, ask me. You have the experience previously, how you were working last year. It's very fresh for you. If you have any questions, please, please, please ask. So I think this is basically it for right now. So we're going to give the word to Samai. We had the idea was to have a few breaks, but we forgot about this as we kept on talking. So Samai, do you have anything else to say? Anybody else? Any of the colleagues here? Anything you want to say? Is it clear enough? If this is clear enough, we can close. Samai, any other comments? Okay, everything is correct. Okay, great. Everything's okay. Okay, so let's close this session now. We didn't have any breaks, so not have be too heavy on the information. Please, I'm going to send you the format, and please fill it out so we can give it directly to the tutors the fastest we can. So please go ahead and review the protocol, the structure, and look into your documents. And that's it. So thank you very much. One question. I'm sorry. Yes. I'm in a sacred place. It's called Soledad, loneliness. If you allow me, I want to project this image. This is part of our spirituality. And I want to share a ceremony. Of course, I can. Is this with a family, with Tutojil community? Yes, if you allow me. Oh, of course. And we'll close with this. Thank you. Okay. So this is the place. This is a sacred place where we come to give thanks to life, to present any sadness, sorrow, to ask for our path. I am in a Totonicapán Chimecanha community, which means under the water. So here it is. This is what I wanted to share. I was saying that I didn't think I would have enough signal, but here I am. That's beautiful. Thank you. That's a little bit of Guatemala in Central America, in the Quiche people. Well, thank you very much, Marta Lorena. Well, these are these things that we're gonna learn. We want to thank you very much. And we're gonna close for today. They're in a process of giving thanks. Okay, that's beautiful. Thank you very much. That is beautiful. Okay, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we'll see you on Monday. No. It's gonna be Asia. Yes, Tuesday, I'm sorry. Yes, I get confused, and please correct me. Yes, Tuesday. Okay, well, great. So see you on Tuesday. Latin America, the Earth Fire team. Please get organized. If you need us to have anything, please let us know in the WhatsApp. Have a wonderful evening, morning, night, especially those of you that in Asia that we know it's late at night. Please rest well, and thank you for coming today. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.
Goodbye.